watching NotesIn9.
Hello, and welcome to NotesIn9. I'm David Leedy. Episode 201, Thoughts on the Future of XPages and NotesIn9. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Okay, this is kind of a weird feeling for me because I actually feel like there's some kind of expectations for this particular show. And quite honestly, if you've ever seen NotesIn9 before, you should know that you should never have expectations set too high. But we're going to give it a shot. So before we get going, we're going to talk about a few ground rules for the basis of this show. And let's be clear, there is no demo today. This is an opinion and update show. So if you just come for the demos, there's nothing to see here. I have no inside knowledge of IBM's plans or strategies because I am just a customer. I'm not even a business partner. I'm just a pure customer. I do not offer any migration services or benefit from any company that does offer migration services. I'm not here to try to scare anybody. I'm just here to be honest. Believe it or not, I actually have quite a few rules that even from the way beginning, even before my first show, I kind of gave some thought to on how I should handle and work with community contributions that I'm going to do. So there are no rules today. Anything goes, and the rules will probably be not in effect for a little bit to come. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, before we do anything else, before I say anything else, I have to say one small thing. Thank you. And I really mean it. I have to say thank you to just about everybody. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, a couple weeks ago at UKLUG, something kind of happened, which was just like totally took me by surprise. I get tweeted from somebody, and I don't think I was supposed to do it, but it is what it is. This picture, and actually there's a second picture too, of my friends and colleagues and stuff with these I Love NotesIn9 shirts, and I'm like, well, what the heck? And then I didn't get it. I didn't know the what, the where, the why, the who, or anything, or what was going on. And then a couple days later, Marky Roden made this video. He made this like 15-minute video of all these people, and it ended like this.
Thanks for NotesIn9!
And wow, I'm stunned. I still am, quite honestly, and it's been several days now. My wife was stunned. The family was. I don't know what to say. I'm humbled. Thank you. I literally can't think of words better than that. So a big thanks to my good friend Marky Roden, and here's the blog of the whole video. It's about 15 minutes long, so I didn't want to put the whole thing in this show. Rob Mason was actively involved, and I'm not even sure if I've met him. I hope I have, but I hope if I haven't, I hope I will. Amanda Bauman was, I'm sure, in charge. She's the IBM champion. Leader, I guess you could say, and quite honestly, nothing gets done in the community without her, really. Tim Clark, he's such a class guy. He runs UKLUG, or UKLUG, IconUK. Sorry, see if my mind isn't quite working too well. And thanks, I got so many tweets and emails and comments and stuff, so there's just too many. I try to respond wherever I could, but again, I never did this for thanks or anything like this. I just wanted to try to help. So again, thank you, everyone. Okay, all right. Let's get on with the show and NotesIn9 updates. So one of the things that came out from this video, which I'm sorry if I've confused people or so, but there a lot of people thought I was retiring from NotesIn9 and hanging it up. And quite honestly, that discussion did come up about 6 or 7 months ago, and which we'll talk about that in a little bit. I was ready to kind of throw in the towel probably, and my wife kind of talked me down from that ledge a little bit. But why were we having these discussions? Well, it has to do with me and XPages, quite honestly. I've got some problems with XPages, so I do have to end what I call my unrelenting focus on Domino and XPages technology. I do want to give huge thanks to the IBM XPages team, past and present. From Phil to Paul Hannon to Martin and the current team, for all their hard work on the product that I love. quite honestly. But sadly, my day job's dropping dominoes, so there's not much I can do about it at the moment. We're gonna lose some jobs, and I could be one of them. So I need to learn something new, some new technology, and stay relevant. And we're gonna talk about this more in a little bit. But I might still be doing an occasional XPages show here and there, so let's not totally panic about it. So what is going on with NotesIn9? Just to clear that up, because again, uh, I did talk about the end a little bit or so ago, but then we decided, well, let's go in a different direction. Let's actually try and expand, and let's try to make it a better resource for people, because I'm not the only one out there, I suspect, who needs to learn new technology. And the whole point of one of the whole points of when I started NotesIn9 was, as I was learning XPages, there were no resources out there. I didn't want others to go through the pain I was going through in learning XPages, and it was pretty painful. So we're gonna try something different. We're gonna try to expand, and I'm gonna bring on two new video producers on board to try to join the team and actually have a team now and see if we can help more people and do a better job than I can do by myself. The first one is a great community member and contributor, Oliver Bousset. Um, he does a lot of work with OpenNTF. He's an IBM champion. He works on this really neat product for We4IT, this Avito framework. And he's going to join on. And he was actually the first one. I blogged about this. I blogged that Notes9 was quote unquote hiring, and he was the first one to get back to me. And he's always been a good friend of the show. But probably the best friend of the show, who's coming on board, is John Jardine. Now, John has done 17 shows for Notes9 for almost 7 hours. So I'm so excited that he wants to come back and help us with this kind of transition and expansion. So John is a great developer. He's a great IBM champion. He does a lot of training and mentoring. And he gets his hands on a lot of different technologies. So he's really an exceptional developer. So what's the plan here? Well, ideally, if we're going to start doing shows more than just XPages. Notes9 was never meant to be Lotus Notes9. It was never meant to be XPages of 9. That's just what I did. I did XPages, so that's all I really cared about. Well, I care about some new things these days. So ideally, Oliver will hopefully be working with XPages contributors, and whatever else he wants to do, and try to keep some XPages shows going that way. John Jardine is going to really kind of focus on more new tech, like things like React and other things that we have not had on the show yet, which may have some hooks in XPages sometimes and may not. And my current plan, personally, is I want to learn Spring Boot and some of this thing called Timeleaf, which is a Java-based web development system, I guess you could say, kind of like Java Beans or whatever. So I'm really hoping that the work that I've done in XPages with Java and the page controllers translates well to Spring Boot, and on paper it looks like it will. So hopefully we'll be talking about that in the future. XPages content is always going to be welcome on Notes9. We just need help to keep it going. So if you do want to keep XPages content going, please let us know and join in as a contributor. It's not that hard. We're going to need new and past contributors to keep that content going. We will help you. If you've seen any of my shows or early shows or even later shows or so, they're not always that fancy. There's nothing wrong with that. There are still new people coming into XPages. I still get emails from a lot of people on this stuff. So if you're on the fence about it, send me an email. We can talk about it. Okay, a long time ago, in a galaxy far away, a wise Jedi once said,
"Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering."
But what he forgot to say is opinions lead to ego. And no, I didn't try to do an impression of him or so. But to me, that's the dark side. So one of my main rules has always been, even from the beginning, that I always wanted Notes9 and my content to be about the content and not about me, which is one of the reasons why I almost never show my face on the show, because it's not about me. But even though it's weird, even though I try to keep ego out of the show in my life, it did kind of creep in once. So I was in MWLUG in Pittsburgh, and I don't know what happened there. I don't know what everyone was smoking or drinking or so, but I got recognized a lot one day. I mean, I got recognized in the elevator. Oh, there's a Notes9. You do Notes9. And I got recognized at breakfast. I got recognized between sessions. People came up to me to say thank you, which is always great to see. I mean, it's weird for me. It's always great to see. Don't get me wrong, because I love meeting everybody or so. So at lunch, I get up from my chair and I go to get a drink of water or whatever it was, and this lady I see from 4 or 5 tables away just stands up and just makes a beeline over to me. All right, I know what's going on here. She's a fan. She is totally a fan. So she makes a beeline over to me, comes right up to me, and I'm ready for this. I'm prepared. And she says, "Excuse me, sir, your fly is down." And from that moment on, that cemented that ego will never be part of Notes9, which is why I hate doing opinion shows. Uh, I've only ever done, I believe, 2 real opinion shows. I did the one on show 141, the Java versus JavaScript Throwdown, which quite honestly only existed for me to have an opportunity to really make fun of Mark Roden. And then the other one that I did, which was a little more serious, was I came out against mobile controls. I was a big fan of mobile controls to begin with. I made a big application in it, and I realized that they don't cut it, and they're just not good enough. And I felt at the time that it took me too long to come out and say that you shouldn't be using them. So. Long story short is I hate getting into this opinion stuff because I'm afraid it leads to ego getting into the show. Um, uh, but I can't kind of sit on the sidelines anymore. I'm gonna have to start giving some more opinions. I feel the motto of Notes9 has always been learn, code, share. So there's no talk about opinions or egos or anything like that in there. It's just about coding and doing. Start. Stop bitching and start doing was our motto once in one of the X Pages chats and stuff like that. But again, the times they are changing. So recently, I made a blog post. It was titled "No More," and I really kind of had a different tone than I usually do on some different things. So, and I got a lot of comments and feedback on that. So why did I blog? Well, the one of the reasons what really kind of was a straw that broke my back here is actually at MWLUG again in Austin. I think it was the last night or the night before. I get an email from this guy who had an X Pages technical problem. I get those fairly often. So I helped him. I was able to help him on this one. And he says to me in the end, he says, "Thank you. And this is what I needed to make the case to management for X Pages." And I'm like, "Oh my God, what's going on here?" Because, now my company is moving away from X Pages. We haven't seen any good updates in quite a while. I mean, and now this guy's trying to make a case to go in deeper, and I just had a kind of a moral crisis. So the other reason why I blogged um, about this is because, at least in the past, and I don't know about current management, but in the past, IBM has been very fond of saying, "We're not hearing that from our customers." They've said it. If you've been to Lowe'sfear, you've probably heard it, and stuff like that. And I'm a customer, so that's why I wanted to blog. And guess what? These people are customers too, and they kind of agree with that blog post. And so do these guys. And I could keep going on, quite honestly. And really, seriously, before anything else, no one, and I mean no one, got the reference to Doctor Who in the No More post. And you call yourself geeks? Come on, get off the bench. Okay, anyway, let's get back to tone. So I made this blog post, and some people didn't like my tone, quite honestly. And so I think it was Eric threw it to Watson, who, this is what Watson thinks of my tone. Now, quite honestly, I think it's pretty spot on. There was anger in that post, and there was disgust. I don't know where it got tentative. I didn't think I was being too at all. But for the people who didn't like that tone, and a couple of people didn't, and I never met those people or so. But this is a personal and emotional time for me, as it's for others, because I don't like the direction of the product. I don't think we're in a good spot, and I'm going to start talking about it. This is not a game, and jobs are at stake, and mine could be one of them. So some people don't like that if it's not positive, they say it's not helpful to business or so. I'm gonna just say I disagree with that. I totally believe that honesty does not equal negativity. So if a more honest tone of a couple bloggers can impact this product or decisions around this product either negatively or positively, well then there's bigger problems, than we know about, because bloggers are just bloggers. Everyone has an opinion. It is what it is. Okay, so here we are. Let's talk about my thoughts and personal opinions on the state of things regarding IBM Domino XPages. Now, keep in mind, there's horse and buggy parking at my Walmart. I work next to my dog. I don't get out that often. Okay, so I might not be right with some of these opinions. I might be way off base. All I can tell you is I'm going to be honest. Okay, first the good news, and there is good news. The IBM came out with a statement of support for Domino until 2021, and even though it wasn't in the original statement, it's clear that it means at least 2021. Okay, so they again, the IBM is run by lawyers and stuff like that, and we'll talk about that in a little bit too. But so Domino is going to be supported at least until 2021, and most likely going forward. New features are coming to the product. Now, it's true that at the moment they do not plan on incrementing the version, so it's going to be 9.01 or whatever. What version of Chrome do you run? Do you even know? No one knows. I mean, it's kind of there, I guess, but the version number doesn't matter. So they're going to go from fix packs to these feature packs. So they're going to have fixes and new features in at the same time. Okay, so that's our path to getting new features. And there's actually pros to this feature pack plan, and I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say or not or so, but it has something to do with keeping support for systems or something like that. So there are some good things to actually not incrementing the version, quite honestly. Java 8 finally is coming. So that is going to happen, they say. So those are all good things. They have a new management team that seems to have, from where I sit, again, in Hickville, for their manager seems to have good energy. I hear good things about their new GM, and I'm not going to try to pronounce her name. Ed Brill is back, and he knows the space, and I've heard nothing but great things about Barry Rosen, who I've never met or talked to before, but he kind of just came out of nowhere to me, and now he's kind of involved in the development side and stuff like that. So the good thing is they seem to have a team that's willing to make decisions that they haven't had before, or at least in the last 3 years. Now, we might not like some of those decisions, but I'd rather have someone actually making a decision and coming up with a direction than just being kind of in limbo and the squeakiest wheel gets the grease or something like that. And then finally, they have promised, I believe they have, and I'm not sure when, I think it's Q4, so there's some kind of application modernization plan that's coming. I saw a comment from Ed Brill on one of the blogs about that, I believe it was, and wherever else. So there is this application modernization plan coming. However, and that ends the good news segment, in case you didn't notice. The past 3 years did happen, and they were painful 3 years. There was no captain of the ship. There was no direction. There was not many new features or so. So whenever IBM, to me, talk about a plan, and I can only imagine what those planning meetings may have been. Again, this is probably not the new group, but the past group. But whenever I think of IBM and the plan, I can't get this out of my head.
We have to stop Roden.
How? I have a plan.
You've got a plan.
Yes. First of all, you're copying me from when I said I had a plan.
No, I'm not. People say that all the time. It's not that unique of a thing to say.
Secondly, I don't even believe you have a plan.
I have part of a plan.
What percentage of a plan do you have?
You don't get to ask questions after the nonsense you pulled on Nowhere.
I just saved Quill.
We've already established that you destroying the ship that I'm on is not saving me.
When did we establish?
Like 3 seconds ago.
No, I wasn't listening. I was thinking of something else.
She's right. You don't get an opinion. What percentage?
I don't know. 12%.
12%?
That's a fake laugh.
It's real.
Totally fake.
That is the most real, authentic, hysterical laugh of my entire life because that is not a plan.
It's barely a concept.
You're taking their side?
I am Groot.
So what? It's better than 11%. What the hell does that have to do with anything?
Thank you, Groot. Thank you. See? Groot's the only one of you who has a clue.
Was that too much? Was that wrong? I don't know, but again, that's just how I feel the previous domino planning strategies have been. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I want to believe that they are going to turn it around. I want to believe that the new GM is going to make a difference, but those past 3 years or so, or longer almost, have happened. So I'm not going to believe anything until I see something really positive. The extension of support only goes so far. IBM, to me, needs to, at least in this product, it needs to earn back trust, and I want to see it. So let's talk about some of the bad news. We get this extension of support, but what does that even mean? Don't forget, it's been supported for the last 3 years. You know, extension of support is not a promise to fix things. It's just a promise to take your phone call and log it in some database somewhere. You know, I can't help but notice that they've been dropping support for various pieces of Domino. Web admin was dropped. IMAP was never fully fixed from what I know. I'm not an admin, but I know a lot of people were complaining about it. You know, it took forever to get, you know, those security updates. You know, that wasn't a proactive thing. That was browsers going to stop working, you know, on these websites, it seemed. IBM has this love affair with the cloud. So if your company does not have a love affair with the cloud or does not really want to go to the cloud, then you've got some problems. IBM's going to go in their direction. That can't be changed, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you do not want to fully embrace the cloud and their vision, you've got a problem. IBM is focused on Verse and Toscana. Again, it's hard for me to comment because I haven't really seen either. Quite honestly, I think they're both waste of times to me. Now, not Verse is, I'm sure, valuable to an 80,000 seat company or above. I guess Toscana, I don't even know what that is. It's some kind of some kind of chat system where they're gonna tie in Watson and cognitive computing. So maybe, you know, if everybody were to use it, then the CEO can say, did Dave Leedy goof off today? If that's the case, I don't know who's going to use it, quite honestly. You know, and there's so many out there now. There's Skype and Skype for Business and Slack and HipChat or so. I just feel that it's been a waste of resources. If they would have put their eggs in the application development product, which is the unique thing that they had, you know, down to application development. No one else has that, you know. I mean, sure, you can develop in other things or so, but there's so much going for it, quite honestly. So they made a better email, okay, with pretty little circles of people I either already know or won't put their pictures in to begin with or so. That's not that helpful to me. God, I remember like 6 years ago or so at Lotusphere, they said email was a commodity. Who cares about email? It's all about activity streams. Activity streams, they're the shizzle, you know, but now we're back to email battles and stuff like that. I don't understand it. So the question to me is, what is IBM's real commitment to Domino developers? Okay, yes, we're getting Java 8, but I don't think we're getting that because they want to give us better tools. We're getting that because Verse, which runs on Domino, requires Java 8. So they needed it themselves to make Verse work. That's my impression. I don't know that for a fact or so. But what's the last thing they gave to Domino developers to make developing applications easier? I don't even know. I'm going to guess in 8.5.3 or 8.5.2 when they did the extensibility stuff. Now, the extension library has been enhanced regularly, and that's great to see. But what about the XPages runtime? What about bringing stuff back in from JSF and the new stuff that's in there? What about fixing the source control? Now, they have said that they're going to provide a hook uh, so the community can fix source control. I'd rather them fix it themselves. What about the fact that Domino Designer is based on Eclipse from like 2008, and no new plugins even work on it? I want to see commitment to Domino developers. I mean, since the last release of Notes 901, I think it is, Apple's came out, I think, with 3 versions of Swift. I think the initial version of Swift came out after 901. I'd have to check my dates or so. But a lot's happened in other places since then. Angular 2 is out now. Everyone else is moving forward, and I'm not seeing any forward progress here, and it's upsetting, personally. Another thing is, forget about Domino for a minute. Full stack development, I think, is getting a lot more difficult. I think you're going to start seeing a lot of people kind of start to split off and specialize into front end and back end development. Because if you take Domino away, if you want to go into the real world or so, how do you do this? There's a lot to learn in Angular and React and all these kind of client side front end stuff, and then you still have to have some kind of REST API on the back end, and you have to have some data logic there for data integrity or so. Plus all the CSS crap. It's hard. So I think that just the overall, even if Domino and XPages were fully fleshed out, unless they really went all in to make it the best thing in the world, the full stack development is just getting a lot more difficult. And keep in mind that XPages apps are not going to run forever like Notes client apps. So it's not like you can run Notes 901 forever. Deploy some XPages apps and never have to think of them again like Notes client apps, because these browsers, Chrome has already broken things in Dojo. We had the big iOS 8, I think it was, mess. We had this partial refresh mess just like 6 months ago or something like that, where basically we had to go into the Chrome support forums and all but beg for them to put back something that they took out to keep these things working. So inside XPages itself, there's just all these projects, and they change, and a lot of things can break. So I still love XPages. It's given me so much, but I can't defend it. I question the future in it, and I question IBM's commitments to it. So just be aware of that. A couple other just random things. IBM seems to sell top down versus bottom up. So when I say that, I mean, IBM sells to the CIOs, to the CEOs and stuff like that. That's how they get their products in. But you look at Chrome and Microsoft and stuff, they start from the consumer, and the consumer demand seems to get these products rising to the top. Look at the iPhone. When the original iPhone came out, businesses laughed at it, right? It's not secure. It's a toy. We don't want it. We want our BlackBerries. We only want we don't want the iPhone in our company until the CEO got one at home, right? Then he wanted it or so. So a lot of sales and a lot of movement from in the industry, in my opinion, comes kind of from the consumer back door, as you will. And IBM doesn't know how to talk to consumers, as far as I can tell. They just don't. They also have so many legal hurdles, so I mean all these big companies have lawyers or so, and I don't know the history of it or so, but I mean it feels to me like they can't order pencils without going through legal to make sure the color's right or so. So again, that's just the way they are, but it's an impediment to getting things done faster. It's an impediment to contributions to the community. It's just a handcuff that they have, which can be a problem sometimes. Okay, Sean Cole just made this great blog post on the state of web development, and he got into some details that better than I did on my blog post and more than I'm going to get into here. So I'm just going to say go check out his blog on there. It was really excellent. His thoughts. Mikkel Heisterberg, he made this. Now I don't really care about connections or so, but he made this 6 3-part blog post of the state of IBM Connections development, something like that. And I didn't read all of it or so, but it seemed to me like the crux of it was IBM created this product for the connections, but the APIs were never finished. The developer hooks were never fleshed out enough to really do what you needed to do. Now maybe there was a reason for that. Maybe not. I don't know the answer to that or so, but it's not a development environment according to what I got from that blog series. So again, I'd love to see IBM really embrace developers with some of their products and tools. I mean, I know they do Bluemix, and some developers like that, and there's good things going on there, but that's not an IBM necessarily product. You know, that's not connections. That's not dominoes that people want to build with that. That's using their service to build with other tools like MongoDB or something like that. Then this kind of came out, and this kind of bothered me a little bit. This tech document. So Domino Web Administrator and Java applets will not work in browsers that remove MPAPI support. And I don't even know what MPAPI means or so. But if the short of it is, let's say you want to see your Domino address book from a browser. It's not going to work because I guess they use Java applets in there. So what's IBM's fix for this right now? Well, if you read the document, it literally is fix it yourself. So, but at least we've got support to 2021. So now, is that an edge case? Probably. I don't know that many people that live browse the Domino directory from the web or so. But again, they've deprecated WebAdmin. You know, these databases aren't working, and the document library database is in there. People might actually be using the document library database. So again, they just kind of pulled support off from that. So now maybe they're going to come back and update those templates. I hope they do. But right now, that document literally says fix it yourself. Okay. Phew. So that was a lot of spewage from me. You're not used to that, and I do apologize for that, but it had to be done. So let's get back to some good news. The good news is IBM Domino XPages is not going away anytime soon. I still believe today that XPages is a great place to start learning new things. So if you are getting into XPages now, I'm not saying stop, but I'm saying what you should do is get into Java, get into the MVC with page controllers that I've been talking about on the show. Get into REST APIs and get into using the Bootstrap from the extension library, because all those things you can take with you if you choose to go someplace else, or if your company chooses for you to go someplace else. So to me personally, I'm going to start focus, and NotesIn9 will start focus on skill migration. I'm going to try to help anybody wherever I can, just like I always have. That doesn't change. I hope XPages kind of gets a new kick and a new lease. But I'm not gonna just sit and bury my head in the sand and just pray that happens. I'm gonna make some plans, and I recommend you guys, if you want to be developers in the web world, that you make plans also for the future. So speaking of the future. Nothing is going to happen anytime soon. As I said, we've got support till 2021. They have the January conference. I'm not sure what the name is going to be. If it's whatever. It was Losphere, then Connected. I think it was back to Connect. I'm not honestly sure what it's going to be, but there's going to be a January conference in San Francisco that there is some excitement starting to build for that. There's this app modernization plan. I got that image from the movie again. But the plan is coming, so I'm really hoping to see something good and worthwhile and helpful in there to us. XPages is such a great place to learn new skills, especially more on the server side stuff. So if you really want to get into the front end stuff, then XPages, you can make REST services with it, so you can still use the database that you're familiar with. So again, there's so much good that is in XPages. Notes9 is we're going to try to continue it with both XPages and other new content. And again, I would just say focus on think about your tools and how you develop your applications. If you do a lot with at formulas, well, no one else uses at formulas out there, like the Notes client and XPages does, and no one's using Lotus Script out there. So just keep that in mind. Okay, to wrap it up now, this is from IconUK, and you actually can stop the video now if you want. I'm including this solely for me because I don't want to ever lose this video. But this is kind of like the behind the scenes filming of that thank you NotesIn9 thing that big group did, and in the beginning Tim Clark's just said some really nice things about me and NotesIn9, which I really appreciate. So I just never wanted to lose that. So with that being said, here is the end ceremony, I guess, or a portion of the ending of IconUK.
To finish this off, I don't know if you saw Rob yesterday. He was doing some stuff with David Leedy, doing some videos, and so was Amanda, doing some videos for David Leedy. He's done, what is it, 200? 200 NotesIn9 videos. So if people say there's no education, there's no training material, there's no nothing, you're not looking, right? Because David Leedy has put a massive catalogue of content out there. And it's all good, fantastic stuff. There's no opinion in it until now, but it's all good, factual stuff, right? So all good. However, Rob, in his infinite wisdom, I don't know if you saw these yesterday, he made up these t-shirts. I heart NotesIn9. Okay, I think they're amazing. It shows solidarity with somebody who's done a lot for this community. So we have a 2XL to give away. Who wants a nice shirt? Ready? Jason Hook. Are you here? He's gone, isn't he?
Yeah, he's gone.
Okay, right. John Taylor. Oh, there you go.
If you win a shirt, will you stay up at the front so I can take a picture of it?
Andrew Maryland.
Yes.
Come and stand at the front, please.
Put your t-shirts on.
Stuart Crump. No. Bill Mallon, just kidding. Renee. Okay, you'll come and stand over here for me, please, and we'll get a picture. Rob,
Yeah, send a picture after. Do we have something to eat?
Eat more. Eat more food.
It's a night shirt. You can wear it to sleep in.
There we go. Over there.
Bill's got his
Squeeze it, guys. Squeeze it.
Guys, scoot over.
Like the Misfits.
It's like you've never
Have you guys never done a group photo? I mean, come on, did you not go to school?
You get one more just in case. Alright, there we go. Thank you.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, right, so the last thing we have to do is everybody, you're going to go stand in that corner, right? Yeah. Everybody has to be visible to Rob. What we're going to do is we're going to send a really nice, very quick, wave your hands in the air and shout like you don't care. Hang on, yes, Ben, what?
Just put it in my head.
Oh, okay, right, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a really quick video for David Leedy to say thanks for NotesIn9. Okay, so that's your script. We'll practice that one. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thanks for NotesIn9.
All right, and again. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thanks for NotesIn9.
Okay, this is it, right? You ready, Rob? Go.
Thanks for NotesIn9.
Okay, so that's my piece. Thanks for your attention if you made it so far. And here's my contact information, and I thank you for your time.